All right, I think we're live. Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan, and today we are back for another simple signal stream. Now I know it's been a while, okay? I know it's been a while because obviously I didn't actually do Thursday, although I did swear on many people's souls that I would do Thursday. I didn't do Thursday. I had the AMA on Friday, so we have missed. I have few and fair streams, so to miss a stream last week has really, separated the amount of time I've spent between, last time we looked at the charts and now. So it's been a while. I know it has been a while, but absence bit to fond grow heart and whatnot. Fonder. You know what I'm saying? Absence make the heart grow fonder. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It's been a while. I'm back now though for another stream. Okay. Bitcoin 69671. Let me refresh. Okay. Let me refresh to make sure we're on the latest, obviously. 69658, of course. Okay, brilliant price action so far. Amazing position we're currently in. I'm excited. Okay, we are starting to try to get heave ourselves upwards back towards obviously where we were last time before we dumped. Or not dumped, but we fell a bit, and then we fell a bit more, and then we fell some more, and then we came up, and then we fell some more again, and then we came up. You know what I'm saying? So we've got back to where we were. And then, hovering in this area. I think the last time I think the last I left you guys off with was we were in this sort of area, and I was talking about coming towards the green area. So it has been a significant while, but we're basically back to exactly where we were. Again, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about all the way up, leading to right now and afterwards. After what I've already talked about. Sorry, I'm completely. I don't know. I'm having some difficulty. I need some more size. So yeah, pretty good. I'm excited. 2,509 for Ethereum as well. Obviously down 6.24 on some. I actually need to look at Ethereum Solana. I haven't actually looked at them in quite a while since last stream. Solana's doing really, really well. 176. I remember me and Kiwi were looking at what we could go to. I think we have equilibrium at 176 area. I said that area is going to be difficult, and then we had an area above that of difficulty. So it seems like we've come to that area at 176. I can't exactly remember what my prices were, but I think one of them was where we are now. So we will see when we got to the charts. So pretty exciting news. Or just not pretty exciting news. Pretty exciting price action. I mean, I might read a little article, maybe see what other people are saying. Why have we done this? Because obviously there's a lot of reasons across the board. Obviously, why. Based on my, if you know and looked at my streams before, and you've seen what I've looked at when it comes to Bitcoin on the higher time frames, kind of what I'm thinking in terms of our price, price targets and whatnot. So yeah, you'll already know. If you don't, you don't. Then obviously this is going to be a pretty packed stream though, in terms of looking backwards, because obviously I do categorize some of my streams into two different sectors. One is previous stuff, and then the next certain type of stream which will probably come up. Obviously, I'm going to do what's coming in the future right now for Bitcoin, but the majority of the time will be spent on, previous price action and price action leading up to where we are right now. And then it also, on the second, on the flip side, secondary is if we've already, done what I've already said, and then it's looking basically majoritively forward. So I think this is definitely going to be one of the streams where we look backwards. I still will be doing some, price targets and whatnot. But anyway, let's get into it. I believe we did fall quite significantly below the green area. Green area hasn't shaped up to be a proper area. Obviously, that it's not. It's one of those things where it was formed on a higher time frame, and we've seen this before with the grey area. So we use it. Okay, you know what? I'm just getting to it. I'm talking about the charts without actually showing the chart. So we use it. Okay, you don't even know what it means. We use the main area of 6561. Okay, that's all you need to know. Now, the majority of my TA is based on this range. So the majority of my lines, majority of my areas, the majority of these colourful little rectangles you see all across the screen is held and drawn and looked at within this range pretty much solely. Now, I have sometimes gone off and looked at different higher ranges, but that does, lead into sometimes having TA where I'm looking at something which isn't necessarily on this frame, but it still potentially could work. And just sometimes it doesn't work. So I think the two times we've done that has been, I believe we had one in this area, I think maybe this grey one, and we didn't hold it properly. And then this green one was another one where we looked at a higher area and we also didn't hold it. So maybe I might stop looking at the higher ranges. I might just stick to what we have at 6561. because that doesn't seem like it's doing too well. Because again, we did have this green area. My main gripe with where we were, and my main target was that we were going to come down and see this area. Obviously, I did talk, we were up here. I think it was like Monday. What time was it again? What time was it? When was I did TA when we were up here. Or was it back here maybe? No, that's Friday. No, it can't be then. When were we? Was it from here? Oh, no, I swear we were up here and I said it was going to come down. I can't remember where we were exactly. Where am I? Was it here? Maybe on a Friday and I said we would come down. Okay, one of these positions on the chart is me saying we would come on to green area. We did. I think this main green area was something significant. And obviously it did shape up to be something significant. Again, you can see we had multiple candles of hovering above it. But again, this isn't very good TA. Or this isn't very good, a very good scenario to be in. Obviously I know hindsight and this, that, the other. But, when you found a support area, and you've not, let's say this, random line, this random purple line is a support area, and it's mass or resistance in this case. I did do support, whatever. I'll use it in this scenario. So this is support. We're here. This is our price action. We're doing our thing. Normally you see on support is, you bounce off it, you spend a candle or two there, and you come off. Simple. This down here was not very nice to see. I mean, I was saying at the time, okay, cool, we have a decent area. It's shaping up to be that this middle line at 67226 is a decent support area. I want to look out for that as we see it. But this wasn't what I wanted to see. And we saw it, and this wasn't very good for our price action because obviously, it's not very good to see, okay, I've come to support area, and then you do this. It's like coming to this area. Because again, what is a support area at the end of the day? It's not just some magical area you come to, and then price immediately reverses and goes on the other direction. It's either, a place where, obviously in this case, a bunch of people want to buy that. It's a significant area of where people want to interact with what you're trading. So for example, in Bitcoin, for example, if it's a support area, it's going to be a significant area where people are going to be wanting to place their buys, and obviously in this case, a support area for Bitcoin. But when you start to see this, where you've come to it and nothing's happened, it's like, okay, well, it just there's an equal, not an equal, but there's a big fight in between buys and sells. So when you see an equal kind of fight between buys and sells, and the price isn't really moving, you've got a lot of wicks, there's a lot of uncertainty, but the candle bodies aren't very big, and you're at support area, it's just not very good. So this wasn't nice to see, and it just kind of proved to us this area wasn't very good to use. So obviously when we saw that, it then obviously finally broke and then came down to previous support down here, the main one being 66,151. Because I said at the time, I think we were up here at the time, I was saying, okay, I think this is going to be a good support area because of the fact on the higher range it wasn't a good support area. But I was saying I think the lowest we could see would be 66,150. But the issue was coming onto it was because obviously we did our TA whenever it was up here, and then obviously we continued into this area, and then we dumped. So we didn't have this, looking at this, and then we saw this, big, massive area of multiple candles of just sitting here not doing much, and then we obviously dumped. So again, this didn't shape up to be a good support area, and then we fell through. So then instead of this being the potential low I saw, it then became the next step for support. So then obviously it was the next step for support, as you can see with this 66,220 kind of candle print in this area. Obviously the wicks coming to obviously the roughest being this area down here, which was this older block ages ago, but it majoritively came into this rejection block, which obviously we've flipped and used as support and resistance multiple times over. And then obviously we had our pump upwards, found immediate resistance at or not immediate because we wicked into equilibrium, but we found immediate print at the outer range of the equilibrium, so immediate resistance there. Tried to find support this order block, but again just completely failed. So we've tried twice now to hold it as a support, a breaker block, but we keep on flipping it, and it's not like we flipped it and used it as resistance and then carried onwards. We've flipped it and then flipped it again and flipped it again. So this is just a trash area. So I'm going to delete this, unfortunately, because it's a generally awful area, and it just happens. It's how it is sometimes. And then obviously the next step, upwards, which is good, was this wick down to pretty much exactly where the lower is of this range. So this, I mean, you can take the light at the end tunnel of this is the fact that we've tested once again that this is a good solid area we're in. So it's not like we've had a little fake area where we've been in this, we bounced off equilibrium, we've hovered down, and then we break through the low of this range, and then we come below 64,896, and then use it as resistance and then continue down. This is a good test to say to us, okay, cool, well, even though we are moving pretty crazy right now, we are still using this range. We aren't showing signs of coming towards the purple area and expanding downwards, or contracting technically, whatever you want to say, into this new the previous area we were in. So I suppose it's a good sign, but regardless, we're not there right now. I'm not gonna look at that. We're doing pretty good stuff right now. Okay. Now again, I always go on about daily prints and the 4-hour prints and the higher time frame print. Obviously, I'm not saying 4 hours are super high time frame, but relative this, that, the other, the daily's a decently high time frame. And what we can see right now is pretty good. Now again, 4 hours is 3 hours and 47 minutes is when this daily candle prints. We are currently fighting at the top range of 69,479. So again, you can look at the daily and it's done pretty well. You can see, okay, cool. I mean, this is technically a break. Actually, to be fair, this is technically a breaker block on the daily, which is pretty good. Having support at 67.5. I didn't actually see that until right now. Obviously, we haven't done TA to form this. But this is good price action. Again, it's sometimes good to just zoom out a bit and look at what we have going on right now. And this is really nice. Coming up, pretty much hitting exactly off resistance of the equilibrium, coming down, finding support you can see this is basically the significant line of this range. You can see you got this line, and then the third line upwards is the significant line of the range. You can see this good bounce off of it and then come upwards, obviously forming this breaker block in, obviously, the majority of the candle is also in breaker block area. It's in liquidity void, but it doesn't really matter when the majority of the candle, and again, we're on the 656 we're not on some trashy range, we're on the main range we use, or I use on my TA, which is what you always see on these streams. So it's not like it's some range I rarely use, it's a proper range which I always use. So this is good. This is good to be in this area right now. But the price action is pretty normal. It's good bounce, good continue upwards. So from what I can see, we're either, and again, this is obviously one of those scenarios where I want to base my TA around the results of these next 4 hours, or the print after this daily, or when we come into tomorrow and see how the print functions, and if we're above or below this significant area, which is 69. Actually, let me zoom out to make sure I get the proper price. It's 69,481. So obviously, right now we are above it, but again, we're not really like super above it. We're hovering. And again, on the 4 hour, you can see this is good though on the 4 hour. And again, when you look at when you do TA, and it depends what you do TA on and how you do your TA. But what some people do is they go on the lower time frames. Obviously, it depends on what time frame and how fast they want to trade. But you can slightly. You get your majority of your sentiment, you get it from the high time frames. That's obviously what you want to look at. Because if you're in a good downtrend, or you've bounced off of a daily resistance line, you don't want to go into lower time frames and go, I think we're going to pump above this line. You want to follow how the market's looking in this scenario. And again, if we go to the daily, that is true to hold, because we can see this clear bounce form of this breaker block and then continue upwards. What happens? You form breaker block, you want to flip it and then use it as support. So this is good price action. But again, on the majority of the lower time frames, I'm not saying I go to the 5 minute look at it, but you can see, let's say the 9 minute, for example, you can see we're having this arc to bounce off of 69,481, which, if and obviously I have shown previously price action, not actively live, but the day after or the stream after I looked at it, we break above or below equilibriums, and I show how they kind of happen and how it follows along, and successfully happens to be above or below an equilibrium after flipping it. So in this case, you'd have to come above it and then come back to test it, support, use it as support, and then continue onwards. That's what you need to do. So in terms of what I'm saying right now, you use your sentiment you have on the daily. You take that as take that as your seasoning. Okay, on the daily we're roughly supposed to be coming down. You go to the lower time frames, you can have intraday trading. Trading within smaller movements on the lower time frames, but you need to be wary that on the daily we're supposed to be coming down. So in theory, unless we're having a cool off, the resultant of the day should be lower than the previous day. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, on the lower time frames, it does shape up to be influencing on the higher time frame. So if we have a 1 hour print above something and that continues to hold on the 4 hour, then if that continues to hold on the 4 hour, then we could hold that on the daily and the weekly. So obviously we do have influence on both sides of things. So to apply that to what we have right now, we can see we have this 4 hour, which obviously does correlate with the daily. As you can see, both of them print within the next 4 hours. So if we can hold this on the 4 hour, and again, it doesn't really matter, because on the 1 hour, and again, as I was saying, to follow up from the 4 hour to the daily, we can follow the 1 hour to the 4 hour and the daily. So in the next 43 minutes, if we start to print above this area, then this will be very, very good news for us, meaning we're going to be above this area at 69,481, meaning we'll be above equilibrium, which means we then should be holding to kind of move in between 69,491 or whatever it is, 481, all the way up towards the high of the range. Because again, like I said, you know, you go from the lower range to the equilibrium, you fight at the equilibrium, and then if you're successful, you go from equilibrium to the high. That's the process you go at. So apparently actually I should probably read the chat. I haven't actually read the chat yet since I started the stream, which is actually amateurish from me. I do apologize. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's have a little look at what people are saying. So Kishan, again, I say this every single. I know I do need to drink some water actually. Okay. Kishan, what do I say? You know, I say it every stream. First one to comment, actual go. You know, here before the stream starts. Here before I even start the stream. Actual go. Shout out to any of you guys though. I mean, again, I don't want to say, oh, I don't want to exclude people or do this, that, the other. You know, I'm not saying, oh, all the people who are OGs, or all the people who aren't OGs, or this, that, the other, or all the people who are commenting and not commenting. You know, just being here in the stream. Shout out to you guys. You know, thank you for being here. Thank you for spending time. You know, chat. If you do chat, obviously, you know, that's your, you know, you don't want to chat. Some people just lurk. You know, there's some people, I'm sure there's some people who watch who rarely speak, which is fine. Again, you know, you don't have to speak for me to, you know, acknowledge you as someone who's watching the stream and to appreciate you know, spending your time here. Because again, you know, it just helps to see a comment and see someone speaking. I can say shout out to you guys, this, that, the other. But, you know, if you're here and you've been here for a while or not, this, that, the other, shout out to you guys. But what I will do is actually read the chat. So, Danny, actually, well, you know, because again, I always say this. I say this. I'm a stock record, sorry. I like seeing a name over and over again. I like seeing people who come into these streams commonly. And what's happened recently, I feel like, Danny, you've started to come more and more, you know, consistently, which is nice. So thank you, shout out to you as well. Obviously, there's some people who, you know, they come by once, come by twice, the other. But Danny, I feel like, you know, I've seen your name more and more often. It's nice to kind of keep track of who I see and who I don't see. So shout out to you, Danny, as well. Obviously, in the agenda as well, Rob. You guys are always here. Let me actually read the chat though. There's actually some, you know, actual chat going on. KB as well, the goat as well. You know, you're always here as well. You know, no matter what, like if you're an OG or not, you know, shout out to you, man. Blood City breaks. Moonwell hit at 10 cent over the weekend. I will have a look at that actually. I haven't actually looked at a coin other than Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana in a long time. I will look at that. I think I do have some ranges on Moonwell, so I don't have to spend too much time drawing it. So I will look at it in a minute. I can't remember what I said. I really can't remember. Okay, looked at it again because I spend the majority of my time on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. So when it happens that I look at a different coin, it'll be like 3 streams ago. And 3 streams ago for me anyway is days ago. 3 streams for Mike might be like yesterday or the day before, depending on if he does 2 streams. You know, last stream for Mike is like 2 seconds ago. You know, he's always streaming. But for me, it's like, you know, I'm a rare face sometimes. You know, again, Monday. Obviously, I did my AMA on Friday. But, you know, it's been like a whole week since I did my last TA stream. So it's been a while, at least ages for Moonwell. So I might have already said something. And then, you know, it was already happened. I have no idea. Let me have a quick look at Binance though. And then we can go on to looking at what KB has said, which I should probably read out. I haven't even read it out yet. I think we push up and fill the liquidity gap at 75,600. I'll have a look. I actually don't know if I haven't really looked back too much. To be fair, I haven't looked back at this area. I haven't looked back in this area in a while because, again, we've been below equilibrium for quite a long time now. We've been stuck in this area, you know, below equilibrium on the majority of time. So I haven't actually looked back because, obviously, I always love looking back in specific areas because you'll always find these sneaky little, you know, liquidity in certain areas, obviously fair value gaps, or you'll see, like, you know, some order block or breaker block from ages ago, which you'll just, you know, it'll just be in the background, and then I'll go, okay, cool. You know, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, there was this situation over here. I'm going to drag it all the way along to where we're at right now, and then when we finally get to there, you know, the majority of the time, they follow through. So I will have a look. I haven't actually, but like I'm saying, in terms of, I don't have currently right now, before looking at it, have to say, oh yeah, I agree with you, KB, because I have looked at it. I haven't actually looked, you know, I haven't looked back here like in detail for a while. So, but I am seeing this area here. I am seeing what you're talking about. Obviously, we have come to fill again. I'll find what you're talking about in a minute. 70,000. I'll look at it in a second. It might even be back here actually. Actually, no, we've already filled that by now because we've already come up to it. But again, I'll have a look at what you're talking about in a second. Thank you, Pleasure all mine. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Anyways, Bitcoin. So let's have a look at what we're doing. So where we are right now. So we're in. So obviously breaker block area. avoid. So it should be in these areas up here. Obviously, if we go on to, again, I know I just bashed on about how some ranges might not be as good as others, but I do want to see some bigger ranges. I want to see if we've got anything on the like large, because I haven't actually looked. Okay, this area, this is good. Okay, here we go. So we might actually have potential for something pretty good in these areas, because again, RBOB fairly gap. So this area is going to be where the gaps follow through, which doesn't quite match into there, but again, we can have candles which come down into these areas and then fill. Obviously, majority of these candles, even if there was anything, have been filled already, so can't really look at anything on the higher time frame. So let's go on the 4 hour and see if there's anything to actually have a look at. There we go. Let's zoom back a bit. Okay, so what have we got going on? Okay, so we've got this big old range here, which again, we're already filled, I think, because again, we've already come to here and then came down again, so we've already filled this, and again, it's not anything, it's not in an area of significance. So apparently 70,600, I believe, is what you said, is where there's something significant, which is going to be back here. So this area, which obviously we came into before, also this candle actually fits into the fair value gap range. So remember, or you'd have to remember, if you don't use these ranges, then obviously you don't have to remember, because whatever, but just to point it out, rejection blocks, order blocks, fair value gaps. See, the candle is in that area. Also, order blocks in this area. This is a good order block. So this is going to be a good negative order block for us to follow with. Now, I've accidentally themed order blocks as orange, but whatever. So let's zoom out pretty far so we can drag this along. So that's going to be a good resistance area, which matches up to sit pretty much directly at 71,433. So not only do we have a order block there of difficulty, it seems like we also have outstanding liquidity, because again, obviously these are our gaps. There's also a breaker block here, but I don't think it's very good. This is also, actually no, this is a breaker block. Okay, this is, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is interesting. So breaker blocks, what do they have to do? You have to use them as resistance, or okay, well in this case it is a positive breaker block. Well, obviously you have to form an order block. To form an order block, you have to actually form it and then find resistance there. Obviously not necessarily, you can, there are scenarios, again, because nothing's ever perfect in trading. There are scenarios where you can form it, you immediately come upwards, use a support, and then continue onwards. That's more than happy. But what is more common is you form it, you find resistance in it, and then you continue off. And then when you start to come back to it is when you should, in theory, flip it. Again, you can find resistance in it again here and there, but the majority of the time is you find resistance, do your thing, come up, support, and then continue onwards. So that's normally what happens. But this has been outlying for a while. Okay, so here I was twice, 3 times. Okay, well in this case 3 times. So we've already found resistance, once, twice now. Again, finding a wick at the top, this time. So you can see here we had pretty much a print at the bottom, wicking upwards. We had a higher wick here. So in theory, again, we should eventually flip this. Again, it's only on the 4 hour as well. Found resistance again at this area, also being equilibrium. What doesn't help is it is also equilibrium here. So this is probably going to be a decent area of significance if we can flip it. Because again, remember, every single time we've been here, we haven't really had a good support. Because again, for example, in this case, you might be like, okay, we've printed above equilibrium, what now? Well, we had a really kind of odd print. We printed above, we had big wicks and very small body, which is just uncertainty. I could probably bet the volume did something like this. I bet it dipped. I don't have volume on though. Where's just the volume? Is this right? Yeah, it dipped. You can see that. I thought it'd do that. That's one of the things. I don't really use it too much, but obviously when you look at volume versus price, is one of the things you see if you're going upwards with diminishing volume. That's not a very good sign for price. But yeah, anyway, I just thought I noticed it because I looked at it for like all of 5 minutes and then I stopped looking at it. I couldn't bother with it. I thought it was boring. But anyway, whatever. We had a awful print and then we came down. So again, not us printing above 69,481 right now in the next 45 minutes, whatever it's going to. Oh no, 35 minutes in this case. It doesn't necessarily mean we're out of the out of the pits yet. It doesn't necessarily mean we've got out of the trenches. But it is still a good sign. If we can have a good bounce, come up maybe towards 70k and then maybe come down again, have another bounce or whatever we're going to do, then that would be cool. But again, the thing I was going to say this, but then I got sidetracked. I wouldn't be surprised if we did our thing where we are doing now, and then came back down to find support at 68. I wouldn't be surprised if we did something like that. Again, if we put up with equilibrium, in theory, it should be a pretty strong print, and we don't have to do that. This could just be an outlying breaker block, which we're just going to have support later. So I'm not saying we're going to do that. I don't personally even think we're going to do that. I don't think we're going to come down 68.2. Just as a precaution, I do want to say we do have this massive area. So again, this isn't formed anywhere awful. This is formed within breaker block area. So this should be a good area. And again, we're on the 6561. This is a good range. This is the range I always use. So in theory, it should be a good area. But I just want to point that out because I forgot to mention that properly. So yeah, again, going back to where we are, we could have a scenario, or not could, but I wouldn't be surprised. We're not like to kind of go back onto my point of we're not out of the trenches yet. We could have a print where we do this, have this little bounce, and then have a candle all the way back down, or maybe have another candle where we have big wicks and then come down again. The saving grace is the candle body isn't very, or the candle wicks aren't very big. The candle body is decent. It's not like we've had a big wick come down, big wick come up again, and we've had a small body. It's not a bad thing. What I do want to do though is look at volume. We'll see what our price is doing. We'll get back onto this fair value gap in a minute. Yeah, so our volume ain't that bad. Volume is not that bad. It's been pretty good so far. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, okay, I'm not a volume analysis guy, so I don't really know. I'm not gonna whip out paragraph on volume, but I can kind of have a look at it. Whatever. Anyway, let's go back onto this gap. So I looked at this order block. I keep on distracting myself. I have like 3 different things I'm looking at. I've got the order block, I've got the fair value gap, and I've got this daily breaker block. Anyway, let's go back. So 7,600, which was this big area, and again, let's draw it. Okay. I think I've used purple before, so I'm just gonna use purple again. So my worry with this is we've already filled it. Is my worry. Now, there still might be outstanding, scenarios. So, okay, what is a fair value gap or where liquidity could be? Well, it's when you have these big candles, which never get brought back to, the theory is that there could still be outstanding orders in these areas, which people have placed, well, in this case, if it's sell, it's going to be more sell orders because it went too fast and to be filled. When the candles don't come back up to here, so you can see, a lot of the time when you don't have a valid fair value gap is you have a big candle, whatever you're going to look at, and you have a massive wick back upwards, nearing towards the top of it. It doesn't have to, and this is the thing, there's consequent encouragement, which is a big thing when you look at fair value gaps. I'll get back onto that in a second. So, what is a fair value gap? What is a liquidity? Not liquidity void. What is a what in this case? What is this liquidity? Why is this area? Why is this big candle where there's a big area which hasn't come back into? Why is this going to be potential liquidity? Well, the theory is in these massive candles where there's no wicks in them, there could still be outstanding orders in this area, which could which need to be filled. My worry is it, obviously, I think time does play a factor in it. Again, I'm not some scientist when it comes to fair value gaps. I don't think there's obviously there's a human science, there is to study patterns and whatnot and emotions, but I think I'm not a professional. I could be, corrected here. If someone who's smarter than me about fair value gaps could correct me, but I feel. Again, I if someone places an order, I don't know if they're going to keep it for. Because again, this is June 2024, or this is 7th of June, this year. So it's a decent far, candle. It's decently far. It's not like it was yesterday. It was not like it was a week ago. It's gap. It's already been coming to. This is my point. Is okay. Maybe this candle was so vastly full of sell orders that it only had to come back into it on the half spec of things, and then we can come right back down. So yeah, maybe there still is orders here, but due to the amount of time I think we spent on it, I'm trying to make my words as accurate as possible. I'm trying to think about what I'm saying before I say it. I'm trying to make sure I say exactly what I need to say. But coming back to it, it's been quite a while since we saw this. So maybe, would people bring... I'm sure there's still orders there, but would people, bring their orders out? And again, I think, the idea of fair value gap is, once you come into it and you come down, you've used it. You've filled the fair value gap. So I think to kind of base it on that, we've already had this perfect print at the midline. And again, one of the most important areas in theory when it comes to fair value is the midpoint. Okay, I talked about this when you have fair value gaps, and I talk about them on my streams. Is when we have a fair value gap, is you can wick into it and then come down and like touch into it and then completely come back downwards. And that's in theory one of the ways you correct it. There's also the way of you fill to the midpoint and you come down, or you fill the entire thing and then come down. So from what I know, and again, this is where I'm throwing a line out to someone who knows more about fair value gaps than me and knows a bit more the nuance of it, where if there's a scenario where you can come into it twice and use it twice, where what I've learned from them where there's potential liquidity is the fact that you have this come into it. Once you come out of it, then that's kind of it done. And since it's so perfect as well, you can see we did it. We found support at equilibrium. We filled fair value gap, which was close to this area. We came down below equilibrium because of it. We tried to wick back above. We had breaker block, or we had the order block in this case. We came down. We've had order block a couple times now, and then we come back above and then find support. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so again, but on the flip side of things, I completely agree. There is still an outstanding area here where there is potential. And again, this candle in theory for me, with what I use in theory, the candle is within the appropriate area where the fair value gap should form. So for the fact that the candle is in that area, it's been formed. In theory, it is a valid area where there is going to be liquidity in this candle. But again, just going based off just what I know personally. Again, I don't really look at a lot of my TA comes down to highs and lows, the equilibrium, breaker blocks, order blocks, rejection blocks, and that sort of stuff. And then sometimes I'll draw a low for us to sweep sometimes if it looks significant. I don't really draw a lot when it comes to these charts. It's majoritively being held within the ranges. So when it comes to fair value, I'll draw and I'll go, oh look, we could come to these areas, we could come to this, that, the other, and then that's that. My whole system is based. Let me read this quickly. Oh my days, I completely forgot I was supposed to message you. Okay, what day is it today? It's Monday. We need to get this sorted. Okay, I know we do have the Halloween streams within this week, I think. I think we're doing something Wednesday. But obviously I think the weather's quite bad over here where we are. So I think we're doing something Wednesday. I don't know if it's Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday, or if it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But I think it's 2 days in a row. I think it's maybe Wednesday, Thursday. Obviously we've got Wednesday, we've got a Mew night. I think we're dressing up for both Wednesday, Thursday. So we're a bit booked in terms of this week. KB, I'm gonna write this in my mind. Okay, I'm gonna etch it into my wall. I want to be able. Obviously, this is in case you're free as well next week. I want to be able to have the stream prepared, and I want to be able to do something next week. Okay, I'm gonna message you. I'm willing it. Okay, I'm willing it in my mind. Anyway, my whole system is based upon market aggregation, and LG's fair value gaps. Okay, cool. So liquidity gaps. I assume that says. Obviously, I know I just have to, interpret what you have there. Yeah, I mean, again, I've seen tons of people who have their whole strategy is just based on these gaps. I assume your other parts of your TA does evolve around these gaps, because again, I think there's some things which are perfect to follow through on their own, but I think there does need to be a lot of hand-in-hand things when it comes to certain regards. So for example, for me, when I do these order blocks and breaker blocks, these ranges help and try to guide where there is going to be valid and invalid gaps, or valid and invalid blocks, in TA. So, there are going to be different gaps or different, or sorry, not gaps. There are going to be different blocks in different areas, which I won't see or will be in bad areas. But for the majority of the time, when we respect a breaker block or an order block, they majoritively happen, and majority are respected within the areas I have drawn. And the equilibrium and the highs and lows and all this are in within how do I say this? In themselves, or however you say it. Again, I've not got the enunciation for that saying. In within itself, a guide with the equilibrium, the high and the low. So I think I've got a lot covered. I definitely think fair value gap. So yeah, I mean, again, I do want to do this stream review because not even only for me. I think it's gonna be great for for the people, the members of the community, because I know you post your charts all the time. Really appreciate it, by the way. But I think, as a collective, because again, what I was saying was, I think for the people watching it'd be great, but even for me, I think it'd be great to actually see, an insight into what you do. So I think it'd be great. I want to try and prepare things. I think what I'll try and do, obviously I'll message you. I'll try and prepare some things, you know, I want to ask, or some things we could do on the stream. I think I'll send it over to you. I think you should also send some things you want to say, because that's the most important thing, is that you say what you want to say, type of thing. And we get it going from there. But I definitely think an insight into what you do would be amazing, to see, you know, how the cogs turn within your TA. But anyway, yeah, there is a gap here. I completely agree with that. What I want to do actually is go on the lower time frame, because maybe there's like lower time frame gaps which fit into my schema, which actually follow through. Yeah, so you can see even on the lower time frame, it does follow through here. But it does, I mean, again, then I'm going to the 30-minute. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, the 4 hour. So there's outstanding gap for potential. Absolutely. I definitely think we're going to bounce. Okay, I definitely think we're going to bounce. Within now, basically, I definitely think we're going to bounce. I think the difficulty of this equilibrium has been, can be additionally attributed to this breaker block we've had for a while now. But we've had three bounces off of this breaker block. So again, you have, you know, 1 or 2 or 3, whatever the number is. You form this order block which you find resistance at, and then once you flip it, you then know it's going to be a strong support area. And again, it is formed within the appropriate area fully. It's not like it's half in and half out. It's fully within where breaker blocks should form. So eventually we are going to be flipping this area at, you know, midpoint being at 69,779, also the top being at 70,000. Also, what doesn't help with this fair value gap, and since we've hit this midpoint so many times, is again to this order block as well. So what I definitely think could happen is, you know, we're pretty heavily up there now when it comes to, you know, the price action. I think we're definitely gonna, not definitely, it does depend on where this print happens on the 1 hour and the 4 hour and the daily. You know, if we're gonna stay above 69.48, one or whatever it was exactly. I think if we can hold this, and again, like I said, I think the difficulty of holding this has been this breaker block. I think to hold it, we're going to have to use this as a breaker block. You know, we can't hold this and still have an order block, because then we're just going to be doing this. And if we're doing this, you know what that means? It means Bart Simpson. It means uncertainty in market. It means this, you know, high wicks upwards and then completely come back downwards. Reversal, basically. You know, when you have these volume areas, and again, I think what Bart Simpson could be attributed to is an anomaly in volume. Okay, because obviously when you have volume, you know, decreasing for example, or increasing for example, and price isn't going anywhere, that's obviously an anomaly in, you know, how the market's playing. So once you have, you know, entry into the market and the market's still not moving like this, it definitely causes this reversal. So I think once you have that, you know, hoverage in the market due to being support and resistance, people are buying at the equilibriums, people are selling at this breaker block area, or order block in this case. It just doesn't help the market, and then obviously it forms this hoverage and then you come back downwards again. So I think that's why we've had so much difficulty every single time we've tried to get above this equilibrium. What I hope to happen, and we'll have to see. I mean, considering the fact that, you know, the previous times we've been trying to come into these areas, we haven't really had a good scenario in the market. And again, you can see, it's very zoomed out on the 4 hour, so it's very hard to see. But let me just draw a little bit. So you can see this bounce, come up and then down again, versus this. What's the difference between these two? These two areas we're in now, right now, and back in July. What's the difference? Well, pretty much the only key difference I see properly is this bottom here. What do we see? We see us come up to equilibrium. We see a bounce off of an area below the low of the range upwards. We then come back upwards to try and break above equilibrium, and then we come down again and come all the way down. I'm not surprised at all we never saw above this, because we didn't have the proper market structure to be able to break and try and break above equilibrium and succeed thoroughly. Whereas in this case, what do we have lately? Well, we've had the exact same, not the exact same, we have that surge upwards to get above into the next equilibrium. But the key difference is we bounced off of the expansion line, and then we also bounced off of twice the low of this range. So we've set ourselves up to be in a proper market situation to be able to actually break above equilibrium. So to say, oh, this time's gonna be different, I'm not, you know, huffing copium, whatever everyone says. You know, it's like, oh, you know, this time's gonna be different. I know this one's gonna be different. You know, we're gonna break above. I know it. Well, I'm trying to give reasoning to why I think this time could be different, because of the fact we actually have an appropriate market situation and market movement to be able to do this, because of the fact that we've actually thoroughly tested the entire area we've been in. You know, let's zoom back into where we are now and see this. So you can see very similar surge upwards, very similar bounce off of equilibrium. So pretty much the same. This entire thing was the same as last time. But like I said, the key difference was the fact that we've bounced off this bottom line. So obviously we came slightly below into the rejection block, but this line right here is pretty much like, I'd say maybe $5 off or whatever. You know what? Let's zoom in. Let's test. It's like a tiny bit off, maybe. Again, no, I don't expect anything to be perfect in crypto. So let's zoom in. What do we see? Well, a bounce off of the midpoint of the rejection rejection block. So what do we see? So this line goes to 65,589. This goes to 65,610. So that's like a $20 difference, roughly $21. Really, really accurate there. So pretty much a straight bounce off of the low of the range we're in. So to say, okay, why are we actually going to break above equilibrium? Why if we do print above equilibrium now, why would it be different than last time? I think because of the fact we've had a proper market structure upwards and we've actually got into this range thoroughly to then be able to actually try and break above equilibrium and find support at it, and then find support at break a block, and then find. But what could happen is we kind of have a massive wick upwards to fill this, because again, fair value gaps and whatnot, they're pretty fast, because once you place orders, it's an automated system. I'm not saying placing orders is automated. Once you fill it, it's like okay, has price reached 70,600? If yes, sell. You know what I'm saying? So, I think if people have placed sell orders there and they haven't changed them, because obviously we haven't filled that yet. That's been outlined multiple times over. Because obviously this order block, where there's been massive sell, has been pretty strong. But for this gap here, where there very well could be a majority of outstanding sell orders, then absolutely, I think it would be a very fast procedure. It normally is very fast procedures when you wick in and you wick back out very fast to fill it and then fill these sell orders. Because again, like I said, they fill pretty fast. If everyone's really positive and then you have this fairly gap, you go, okay, we're going to punch through this. Everyone's putting these buy orders in, then there's more than enough liquidity to match these sells to then bring the price down. Obviously depending on if they have that gambit, I suppose. But yeah, absolutely, it's going to be a fast thing. So what could to tie in this potential gap with what I have would be, we have this bounce. We finally found support at this top of the equilibrium. We fill this, and then we come back down again. Hopefully that come down will be back at 69,782 to find a higher low. And then we have breaker block. We've filled the gap. We don't have the gap anymore. Next stop is 71.5 area. Boom, we've got support here, 71.5. Bang, we find the top at 70,000. Bang, off we go. 90k, 85k, sorted. What do I want to do actually? I want to see if there's anything on the higher. I've already looked at this though, to be fair. I've already wanted to see if there's anything on the higher range. Or higher time frame, sorry. I don't think there is anyway. But yeah. Yeah, okay, anyway, so actually, let's draw something quickly. Okay. Anyway, I'm not gonna draw that. So yeah, that's what I kind of think for Bitcoin. I'm hoping we have that bounce. If we actually what I probably should do, I'll say what I think will happen if we don't hold this. I think we're definitely going to use 69,087 as support. I definitely think we'll have this as support, at least. Because again, last time these sorts of things happened, I mean, unless we have a scenario like this, we have this awful print above. And again, I've already explained why I think we had a terrible situation to come all the way back down. Actually, there's a black line here, I don't know why. Yeah, so in this scenario, we did have that wick above. We had very similar to how we have it right now, and then we did come back down. But I think the difference will be, we'll actually find support within this 68.9, 69 area instead. So I definitely think we could have a bounce off there. So you can see we have this high, high here, boom, high here, boom. Obviously came down, low here, boom, wicked up to high. Could have the high down here, or we could have the high there, and then or the low there. And again, anything higher than 66.7 is going to be a higher low. So that's going to be even positive. Because again, how do you keep momentum in the market unless you have to follow the market structure? Well, obviously you got to do a higher high, you got to do a higher low, you got to do higher low. Once you change out of that kind of structure, then that starts to have a signal to potentially have a slowdown and then a reversal. So in this case, obviously we have this structure. We did do we had a good market structure here, bang bang, doing our thing here really well. Then we wicked below this low, or not wick. We came below this low, then had a lower high, but then obviously thankfully found support properly at this rejection block. Because again, market structure, you do have to pay attention to what you have positionally. Because again, that's more of a directional thing. It might not seem it, but based on price action, that's more of a directional thing based on market structure. If you have another higher high, if previously you've had a higher high, then you do a higher low, and you've done a higher high, you've kind of formed that structure, so it kind of informs you of where you can go next. So as long as you follow that structure, you're still going up. But again, you still have to bear in mind, actual resistances, actual supports, order blocks, gaps, whatever you're going to see. So in this case, the fact that we had this higher low or lower high, lower low, but then we did a higher low, and then we've done a higher high now. So now we're starting to come back into the structure. So if we can do that higher high or higher low, that will be our momentum renewer, kinda. So if we can hold, even if we can hold 68.3, which is obviously, I think, a lower case scenario, even if we can hold there, that's going to be a significant low to then do a higher high, because then that's going to bring us that momentum again to be able to try and break it back above. So even if we don't hold right now, I think one of our cases will be seeing support at 68.3. I think it's majoritively going to be 69 at the top of this equilibrium where the actual equilibrium is. I think it's going to be there instead. You see 6561 on the 4 hour, we can see how accurate it's been so far on these two. We can see how accurate our bounces have been. So to kind of fine grain that on the 4 hour, to use the actual equilibrium, I think it's going to be a bounce in between 69.089 and 68.687. This range here for equilibrium, a good bounce off of here, 69k, and then come up again to renew our thing. So maybe it's a bang bang bang, that's our flip. What I'm saying? So we filled this gap, we come down again, find support again, boom, break a block, bang. What I'm saying? So as a safe case, because again, I can't watch the charts for 4 hours, I can't stream for 4 hours to see where our print's going to be, but I can say both scenarios. I don't like saying both scenarios. I don't say, oh, we could go up, we could go down, but it does truly depend on if we hold this equilibrium. What I'm saying? So, and again, the TM I'm looking at, it's not like I'm looking at the 1 hour and go, okay, I know we're going to be in between 69.476. We have resistance at 69.5. Personally, I would try and hold a support. Then we go to the 15-minute, because then you can try and trade, the lower time frame if you go from the 4 hour, because then you can see, okay, we've got ups and downs, and these rough prices. But if you go to the 4 hour, where else do you go? You go to the week to the 4 hour maybe, but that's pretty much it. I'm not looking at what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes. I'm looking at what's going to happen over a decent, period of time. Coming into, the next couple of days, whatever it's going to be. Anyway, I've yapped. I always do this. I don't think anyone's surprised, though. Hopefully you're not surprised. If you are surprised, then obviously this has been one of your first or second streams watching me. I spend a lot of time talking. I spend a lot of time on Bitcoin. So this is Ethereum. So let's see. I can't remember what range I'm on. I think my ranges definitely go downhill when it comes to Ethereum. They were drawn. I think I've got one wrong. I think I did the math wrong on one of them. I can't remember though. This followed through. I drew this before I even had the ranges, so this is pretty good. Let's expand this. This is 729. I think I've got it wrong though, but whatever. So let's expand this across. Okay. Let's see what price action we've got going on. Okay, so what do we have? We have breaker block, which obviously we formed, which is again going to be resistance. We came down. We didn't really hold this, or not. We didn't hold this equilibrium, because you can see came up, bang, bounce, came up again, bounce again. So decent. We held a support. We also had these breaker blocks here, which obviously were both negative. Then found support at them. So pretty good. Great thoughts on SOL after ETH. Yeah, absolutely. I normally do Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana anyway, so don't worry. I will look at Solana in a second. I will try and look at Moonwell. I'll try and find the chart I already looked at to see how well. But again, I always spend way too much time on Bitcoin. But again, I'm gonna go through Ethereum quite quickly. Ethereum not done very well on the equilibrium. Let me check the 423, because again, I do have different ranges. But you can see the equilibriums are very off. That's why I've convinced myself I've drawn them wrong. Unless I haven't actually. Maybe I don't know. I think I've drawn them wrong. Whatever. Let's have a quick look. What do we have on this one? So the 423 is pretty good though. You can see bang, bounce off support again, boom, try to get back above here, find bounce at equilibrium, flipped equilibrium, resistance at equilibrium, bang, support at the low, resistance at equilibrium. So if we went off the 243, I think we'll go down again. I think we're gonna have our bounce off of here. We're definitely gonna come down again. Probably have support at this area. Might have some sort of support here. Potentially. Looking at it, we're in breaker block area, and it's a positive order block, which isn't a very good thing to look at. So I think that might be a negative thing. You know, I don't think that's be very good. So we could see this boom bounce off of 2490, but we've come back below equilibrium again, which is just not what we want to see in the slightest. At all. We don't want to see this. This is very bad. This isn't good for Ethereum. But again, if Bitcoin's breaking above, I mean, to be fair though, like Bitcoin's, trying to fight above equilibrium. We're at 69,490. This is the high of Bitcoin right now. And where are we for Ethereum? We're at 2,515. As a come down from all of this, it's ridiculous. So again, although the market's going up, I do want to say we go up. And again, I think we will hopefully have some momentum to get back above. If we can start to flip what we're doing right now, then yeah, cool, absolutely. But as I see it right now, it's not looking the sharpest right now. Let me go back to 729. Again, 729 isn't very good though, I don't think. I should probably redraw them all again. But anyway, so let's go. So we're on the daily. So good bounce off of the low. Trying to come back upwards to where we are now. We don't really have anything significant, as I see it right now. We're just generally bouncing off of this area. But as we see the normal price action, if we go back, we can see, from low to high, low, high, we've got a higher low. So if this is our low, obviously we can have intermediary bounces before we bounce again. So this could be a bounce, resistance, bounce again down here. So if we can stay above, 2,372, that'll be a higher low. So on the cycle, for the daily, it should be another bounce upwards. But to hopefully not, that's a horrible line. To not, mess the chart up. We kind of have, a thing going on here. A bit of a, I don't think that's going to happen though, because again, the market's pumping it. Ignore me. I just draw ranges if I see it, but whatever. So in theory, obviously, based on the structure we've had, obviously we had this, probably coming from here, because this was a high. We did have a higher low, but then this is a higher high again. So, or a lower high, then we have a higher high. So based on from the low of here, obviously the high, higher low, higher high. If we had this higher low and hold this range, which I think we probably will with Ethereum, then this will be our low. So then this is probably a good scenario to get in to then continue onwards. Again, this is on the daily. This is a longer period continuation of what we have right now. So that will be a movement back up coming towards where we are. And again, this is, I don't think this is a breakup. I mean, I think it's a 729 breaker block. So in theory, this should be used as support. So in theory, we'll flip this, use it as support, continue onwards. And that matches up pretty well with 2,700, which is the exact, you can see 2,699.73. So 25 cent off of 2,700 is the expansion line. So 2,700 is going to be a crucial line. As we've already looked at that previously. It's going to be a crucial line, but we're going to see this bounce. This is just a good prep here. So I think, as I see on the daily, on the longer period, as I think most things go up, I think Ethereum will obviously succeed in passing this equilibrium eventually. We're going to see a surpass of this breaker block. We're going to see support at 2,700. We're going to continue onwards, upwards. So I think this might be our low of Ethereum. So this is a good, so if you're not in Ethereum in a long or whatever, I think to follow a daily long, I think definitely coming up towards this breaker block, let's say from where we are right now, to come towards expansion line at 2,700, probably stop loss just below the expansion line, or maybe at expansion line. Oh no, maybe at fucking the low of the range. I think that might be even better. So that'd be a 2.18 risk reward, because then you can have a 7.35% positive, and then obviously you've got this low down here. It's a bit broad. Obviously it's on the daily though, so you want to be a bit more lenient on the daily. But risk reward isn't that bad. You can go lower. You could go, okay, I have full confidence in this order block below us, or this support area. I have full confidence. I don't think we're getting lower than that. I think I'm going to put my stop loss there at 2,471. You'll get a 4.29 risk reward if you want to do that, whatever. But I definitely think we're going to go up over the period of time for Ethereum. I think this will be our low, boom, coming upwards again. Again, it does depend on how the market responds to where we are right now, if we continue onwards for the majority of things. But not saying everything has to follow suit. Things can rhyme pretty accurately together. So not saying Ethereum has to come to these specific prices. I'm just thinking, as with the market, I think we do go upwards as we see it. So anyway, I do think we go upwards daily, based on daily time frame. I think we're going upwards for Ethereum. I'm aware I'm going to have to cut my losses and go to Solana. Is this the range? Here we go. Yeah, so okay, here we go. Perfect. So this is what we have. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's actually beautiful. So what range do we have? We're on a 27. A good, nice, solid range. So 500. Let's expand these lines, see what we're working with. So these were my 2 areas. I drew these Monday. So last week, my 2 significant areas were going to be this equilibrium and this area up here, 184 to 186. So pretty much completely agreeing with KB on the 185. I also did have this area down here. So if you were here Monday, I did talk about this. Obviously, this is a massive wick down, but again, great support at this expansion line. So just basically showing us off like, oh, guess what? I might come below the low, but guess what? I'm not going anywhere below this line, which again, 159, these purple lines are expansion lines. If you come below these and use support resistance, you're then in the next range, which is a very bad thing. But not for Solana. Not for Solana. Because we didn't do that. We held nicely. But the majority of my TA is already down here, so I can't really look at any of that. The majority of what I have is, again, a lot of it's pretty substantial. A lot of this TA was on the lower time frames because my TA, it was last Monday. So what time was it? It was here. I was doing TA here. So we'd only just got above this this range, or this high into the next range. We'd only just got above on Monday. So we're here. So I didn't have a lot to go off. So all I had was what we had previously on this high and the low here. That's all I had. So I had to go, I think I went on the 1 hour. You can see I went to the 1 hour. So even still well respected. You can see, breaker block, resistance, flip, support, off we go. What do we have down here? This was a rejection block and an order block. So what do we have? Order block. So how do we... Oh, whoops, I'm doing the wrong thing here. There we go. So let's see how well... What do we do? Order block. Let's see how well we did. Bang, formed it. Support, support, support. Continue onwards. Obviously, we dumped in the market, but guess where we printed at? Support, bang. Really good. So this is really good. Really, someone's really truly following the 27 on this range. So this is really good. So you can see, bang, super difficulty at 173 and 177. Bang, found support. Similar with Bitcoin. Bang, super resistance at this area once again. And again, this doesn't encapsulate just these 2 red areas. It encapsulates the higher range. Because again, remember, the higher lines outside of the red area are also equilibrium. So, I'm not going to say that. Ignore me. Okay, I'm yapping. I'm going to drink some water, okay? What's lovely? Now again, I know some of you guys in different parts of the world. Some of you guys are probably living in super cold areas. Some of you guys are probably living in super warm areas. But as I have it right now, my window is like half open and I've got a bottle of water right next to my window. Oh, it's cold. Okay, it's brilliant. I'm off topic. Let's see, what do we have? So, 2 really significant bounces, or 2 significant, not right now, we're currently holding 2 significant comeuppances into this significant area, which I mentioned. So again, going back to what I was just saying, these 2 areas were my main areas I had for Solana. So when I came back to it on Monday, or when I came to it on Monday, we'd broken above into the range. The only things I had to go off, like I said, was the 1 hour and the general market ranges. And again, you could probably, again, some people trade like one single indicator, people trade one singular pattern. They trade 10 different patterns, 10 different indicators. But, there's many ways of going about the same thing. And I think one of the things, especially with these ranges, which I think are really good, is you can, depending on what range you use, you can just use the range. Obviously, you wouldn't get the full benefits of using these, but, you can use general price action and where you think the market's going to go, and then use these ranges and use these lines. But anyway, whatever, I'm yapping. Because there are different things. I haven't used it in a while. There's different patterns. So there's obviously there's reversal patterns, and then there's continuation patterns within these equilibriums, or within these areas, which I haven't used because I don't like them. I only use what I have right now, which I like personally. But anyway, so yeah, this was the main area. This is what we have. The difference in between, what is looking nice to me though, is we have 2 different scenarios. We've had a come in and a come out. We've had a come in, bounce off of the bottom of equilibrium, and then come back upwards above all this area. So right now, because I say this all the time, there's the high area, there's the low area, and then there's equilibrium. But within equilibrium, equilibrium is like a special place. This is where you have fights in between the top of equilibrium and then the top line of the higher equilibrium. You have the bottom line down here. You have the intermediary area where there's true equilibrium. There's so many different areas. There's a lot of, it does happen to have a lot of hoverage in these areas. You can see, what do we notice? There's big candles over here. What do we notice when we come to equilibrium? Hoverage, bounce off of here. Good bounce here anyway. Hoverage again, bounce and bounce again. If we zoom back, what do we have? Hoverage down at equilibrium. What about over here? Hoverage at equilibrium again. But then in between, okay, what happens in, okay, this line, this is good, good example to as my in theory thing. Since we come from equilibrium, we don't see much hitching in price action until we come to the next equilibrium. What about down here? What about over here? What about the come up from this equilibrium all the way, or this is going to be an equilibrium down here to this equilibrium? You don't have a lot of hitches, and then you come to equilibrium, and then you hover a bit, and obviously we come down to the previous equilibrium. Then we come up, and then we reach equilibrium up here, we hitch a bit. So there's the majority of times when we're starting to have a bit of wobblage and whatnot, it's normally in an equilibrium area. So obviously to hold that true to where we are now, we are also in a equilibrium area where we are seeing our hitching. But I definitely think similar with Bitcoin, I think we're gonna have a positive resolution of said price action. So I definitely think we're gonna see us print above this again. I think very similar with KB, 185. So I don't think this is the end of Solana. I don't think this is what we have finished for Solana, because I mentioned this on Monday, which is last week. I mentioned this when you compare Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana. Solana is like a moody teenager. It does similar to what the market's doing. For example, this big dip, we had this pretty much across the board, but it can do vastly different things to what you might see in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And again, if you look at like 100 different coins, you'll see 100. You might see like 70 loosely related answers. You might see 20 opposite answers. You might see 10 answers which don't really fit the pattern of both positive or negative. There's definitely going to be a ratio of how well it follows the Bitcoins and the market versus how well it doesn't. But I think in this case for Solana, I think that Solana's definitely one of the ones which doesn't follow truly with Bitcoin. And again, I'm someone who just normally looks at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana when it comes to streaming. So I don't really have those coins to compare to. And again, with Solana, back here when we were kind of dumping in the market, we weren't doing too well. Solana was just big whipping, just wicking all the way upwards, bang, support, coming upwards again. It was going crazy. So I think in this case, even if Bitcoin doesn't do too positively in terms of printing above equilibrium and continuing onwards, I think Solana could still do its own thing and print above equilibrium, because we're doing that so far. We're doing our own thing. In between Bitcoin hovering at equilibrium twice, coming down to rejection block, and then coming upwards again, Solana has done a similar thing, but it's also pumped from this area, because again, this area is basically the time frame, and Bitcoin's been doing this thing, is doing this, but Solana was doing this. Solana's been doing big stuff by itself. But I definitely think it could continue that kind of movement where it does its own thing and it finds support at equilibrium and then comes up again. But I think even right now, I think this is a good scenario. I would obviously be wary, but I think we have good support at these areas down here. I think we have good support. So I know I said that. I think this green area is very similar to what we have for Bitcoin with that big green area. But again, I still think it's going to be good support. I think we are going to hold, because again, we've had a good bounce off of $173. I think we've had a good bounce. I think we could definitely see that bounce, follow through. Maybe we have two bounces. If we go to 1 hour, we could have, you can see this is perfect. Boom, 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 boom. We're just hovering a bit. Again, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see this. We don't want to see a Bart Simpson. But we've tested both sides pretty nicely. So obviously, you pay attention to the top. You go, oh my god, we've bounced twice. It's not very good. This bounced 3 times even. We're going to see, this bounce. We've seen 3 bounces here. This isn't very good. We're going to break. I don't think that's the case. I think I'd rather look at the bottom where it's like, okay, we've had a rough bounce here, 2 pretty good bounces here. We've got good support, 173, and the support area we have down here at this, order block or breaker or wherever we have back there. So I think we are eventually going to break this line. I think we're going to eventually break 177. I think we're going to print above into $180, find support, and then continue onwards. I definitely think $185 or 184 to 186. And again, this is like pretty much pristinely, what's the midpoint of this line? $185.11 exactly. So it pretty much encapsulates exactly what KB is saying. So I'm on the same side with KB. I definitely think that's my main target for Solana as I see it right now. Obviously, I can draw another range and I'll see, we've got 192 is going to be a big value. Equilibrium might be $200-ish up here. That would be a good value. The high might be up here. See what I'm saying? So there's definitely more and more parts as we go upwards. But I think as I have it right now with this range, it's these two prices and these two prices over here. What I do want to do quickly though is go back over here to see if we've got any interesting not really. Breaker block back here, which might be actually decent resistance. Yeah, that kind of matches up. So you can see like breaker block area, support, flip. So this might be resistance. So if we drag that along to apply to where we are right now, what can we see with that? Well, what can we see with that breaker block right there? Pretty much, what's that, 8-cent bounce? So yeah, I think I'm gonna follow that through pretty nicely with this. Bang, 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 bang. I think in this case, I want this bounce. You know, resistance bounce. You know, boom. I want that. That's what I want personally. But you know what I'm saying. Bit tenser. I don't have enough time. I do apologize. So that's Solana. I'm gonna look at Moon. No. Oh, wait a minute. Moon well. Do I have any charts? I think I do. I do. Here we go. Okay. Oh. That was close. That's unfortunate. It's one of those ones, you know. We had this order block area with the rejection block. I think it was a Thursday when I did this TA. We missed that top by nothing. We missed it. Nothing. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, let's see. I think this is the coin he's talking about. I don't actually have a lot of ranges on this, but we've actually flown up. I don't know what range this is. The 5905. Okay, this is a good range. This is a daily range. This is like a high time frame range. I'm gonna draw a quick one just to see how well it's doing. So that's the 5949. So, and then that's gonna be just gonna add it now. Can't bother with doing 59049, you know, plus whatever the hell. Okay, so in theory that should be 11.8. There we go. So that's in theory what the next range should be. So what do we have here? Okay, perfect. Isn't that just brilliant? Now it is a bit rough because again, obviously, you know, it's one of those coins. What do we have? We just we hit off expansion line, found support multiple times at the high / low, and then we just came up. And then what do we do? Resistance at equilibrium, support equilibrium, resistance at top, support equilibrium, and then a higher low, higher high scenario. You know, or higher lows anyway. You can see boom, low, boom, higher low, boom, higher low, support here. So really good here, especially in this scenario. Bang, these, you know, higher highs, higher lows at equilibrium. You know, really good here. You can see it better on the 1 hour actually. You can see low to high to low to the high to low to the high, or I think high anyway. So we're definitely going to come up again as we see it coming upwards. I definitely think we've got this little range going upwards for Moon. You know, bang, 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 coming upwards towards maybe, you know, 10-cent area again. So yeah, really good price action for this actually. Really, really good. What do we have? So breaker block area. What do we have? Do we have anything? Probably something which I can't see. Okay. Bit of a rough one, but I'm going to test it. So what do we see? We see form, resistance at top, boom. So this is also going to be a positive breaker block. So we have form, negative order block, resistance at midpoint, resistance at top, potential for flipping it, support at 9.868 cent, and then come upwards again. So I definitely think we're going to continue this high, low, high, high structure we have for Moonwell, coming upwards towards what it seems like soon enough, 11.8 cent, as I see it. You know, continuing onwards, this price action is really, really good price action. You know, I definitely think we're going to see these highs soon for Moonwell. So yeah, pretty good price action, really good. I think that's about it. Again, I'm 10 minutes over, so some decent TA today. Obviously, I have waited a week for the TA because again, I hadn't actually done a TA because I had the AMA. Yeah, pretty good. I'm happy with what we have so far. I'm happy with Bitcoin. What we'll do actually is look at Bitcoin quickly before we end the stream because I do want to see where our print is currently doing. This is good. Okay, very good. We've got a 1 hour print. Obviously, it's not perfect. It's actually very similar to what we had last time we were here, where we had 2 big wicks and a very small candle body. So not very good. We need to have a good print here, okay? We need to be careful. We could very well flip if we're not careful. I want to wait for this 4 hour daily print. If we can daily print above 69,481, then I'll be happy. But on the 1 hour we have printed above, so we're showing signs of positivity. But again, all that matters right now is in 2 hours and 48 minutes. Might be +1. Oh yeah, I am. Yeah, because he clocks went back in there. Yeah, whole thing then. Yeah. Anyway, pretty positive for Bitcoin and Solana. Ethereum's in a bit of a struggle right now. We are below equilibrium. I don't think it's going to be something which pits us below. I definitely think we'll see $2,700 some point soon. Again, look at what we saw on the daily. We saw, we've had higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. We're now, I think we're doing our higher low now. So we're probably going to see our higher high soon, which I think is going to be upwards towards or coming towards $2,700, which is also the expansion line. So I think $2,700 is a good longer term mark for Ethereum. I definitely think $185 or $185.11. But Solana is another good high. For Bitcoin, actually, though, it's definitely going to be within 71.5. I think this is going to be a good high area as well. So I think we're going to see these sorts of prices soon. But again, I think also 72,174 to come to this high of this range is going to be another great one as well. So we'll see how it goes. But again, remember, if we don't see this and we also don't see support at 68.3, then it's going to be difficult. But remember what I said, if we don't have a low lower than 66,729, we're golden. We'll have enough momentum. So even if it's, a negative, even if we have a low at 68.3, even at 67.5, I still think we'll have good, market structure to be able to even break above again. So I think, even if we do have a low again, I think we'll have enough. I think that'll be our momentum refresher to then try and come back upwards again and whatnot. But I think, hopefully, this will be our print. But we've got to wait. We've got to wait to see what happens on the 4 hour daily. So anyway, we'll leave you guys off of that. Next stream will be Wednesday, which will be our Mew stream. I think this will also be one of the first streams we have of Halloween-ness. So we've got 30th and the 31st of October, obviously this week, which will be, I think we have 2 in a row. I think we're doing 30 and 31st, or it's 31st and the 1st, Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday and Thursday. So, yeah, I think we're doing 2 days in a row. I think we're doing a Halloween stream and whatnot. Have I missed the SOL discussion? Yes. I'm ending the stream now, but I can do? I can bring the chart up and just show my 2 prices. Here we go. I can just draw like a quick line for you. I'll just draw that. I'll just do that. There you go. You can either I'm about to end the stream, so give it 5 minutes. You can go back, or you can go back right now. You can miss the outro, whatever. So I have missed it, or you've missed it. I have already done it. I meant, but that's basically sums up what I think. I think we'll go towards $185 area. We've already got this. This has been following perfectly as we have it right now. Especially this equilibrium followed really perfectly. So so far so good. As I see it though, like I said, it's not quite as simple as a straight line upwards, but I think $185. That's my main price. So if you want to go to see the discussion and what I have of the history of it, whatever, you can go back on the stream. It wasn't too long ago. It was like 10 minutes ago or whatever it was. So yeah, but anyway, I think the 30th and 31st is the Halloween streams, so we'll be doing that as well. And then other than that, yeah, I might, if something really big happens, if we do have this print, I might even do something, have a little quick look at something on Tuesday, maybe post a screenshot if something big happens. What we might try and convince Mike to let me have a little bit of an area on Wednesday to do another update on the charts, Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what the price action does. But if we have a good print and we're pumping and dumping and pumping again or whatever we're doing, then I might try and see if I can get a little bit of a section on Wednesday for some TA, mainly on Bitcoin. I might just do a Bitcoin little bit because if something big's happened, I want to actually have a look at it. So other than that, that's about it for me. Do make sure, and I didn't actually say this in the intro, I actually lacked in the intro, I didn't say a lot in the intro, very amateurish of me. Please do make sure you check the descriptions of wherever you're watching, okay, because that's the most important thing. Let me bring the chat up as well, see what's going on. So if you do want to check out the Telegram, talk to me, talk to Mike, anyone in the community, get involved with anything we're doing, I will recommend going over to Telegram. That is in the description of wherever you're watching, YouTube or Binance. We do also have the Twitter as well, which is also a great place for content, which isn't posted on YouTube or anywhere else. So I do recommend going over to Twitter as well. Obviously, as always, go over to YouTube. If you're here on YouTube and you're new and you enjoyed, consider subscribing. If not, maybe wait till next stream. If you're new on the YouTube channel or new in general and you want to go subscribe, or you're listening, you're going, why would I subscribe to you? You're awful at this, everything. Wait till Wednesday and Thursday, okay? Wait till we do our Halloween streams, and then consider subscribing, okay? Obviously, if you enjoyed it this stream, yeah, subscribe or follow, depending where you are. And while you're down there, you might as well like. And like I said, while you're down there, check the descriptions, useful links, check them all out. They wouldn't be down there if they weren't useful. So yeah. But if you're watching, you're like, this all right, I don't know if I like this guy or not, I want to have a bit more content, wait till Wednesday and wait till Thursday, okay? Because we're doing Halloween streams. We do this every year. We do Halloween streams, we do Christmas streams, okay? Halloween streams, we get dressed up, we have different names, we do different things. It's a bit of a relaxed, light-hearted. So if you're someone who doesn't like TA, but you enjoyed kind of the presentation or whatever, you will probably enjoy Wednesday and Thursday, okay? And you can follow anyway, because Mike does streams every single day, bar the times where he doesn't actually do a stream, which is valid. So if you do actually want normal content, covering normal news, covering pretty much everything outside, not everything outside TA, because he does do TA, but covering actual outside of stuff TA, actual normal stuff in crypto, then yeah, also subscribe. But I'm yapping. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate you all. The people who are always here, the people who aren't always here, people who have just joined the first time, people who have been here since the start. Each and every one of you, I appreciate you all. Thank you. I think that's what that's all I've got to really say. I'll check the Binance chat one more time. I haven't actually checked it a single time, so I will quickly check it, see if anyone's saying anything, which I'm not going to be surprised if anyone says nothing, because it's Binance and it's awful. So also, if you're on Binance and you actually do want to talk, I would recommend going to YouTube, because Binance sucks. Okay, the chat sucks. And go to Telegram as well. But the stream's ending, so go to Telegram. Don't go to YouTube. Go to Telegram. That's about it. There's nothing really going on there. Nothing going on. Great, very well. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, again, like I said to you, Crossy, just go back 10 minutes, whatever it is exactly. I can't remember. It's after 10 o'clock, I think. So it's on the screen. You can go back in the stream if you want me to talk about it. And that's about it, really. I'm not going to cover it again, but yeah. So thank you. Obviously, thank you. Nice you, mate. Have a good one. Have a good one, KV. Ash will go. I'll get in touch very soon. I know I've said this twice now. I've just been busy. Okay, I had some things to do. I had the AMA to plan for and whatnot. We've got Wednesday and Thursday to arrange. I still need to go to actual shops. We're getting some fake blood and stuff. We're actually going out this year. Okay, the plan is we're going to gradually get better and better at pretty much everything we do, which makes sense. You get better and better at things you do. As you go on and do them more and more. Obviously, we're going to try and top Halloween every other year. So this stream's going to be pretty good, probably better than last year, as we try to aim for anyway. Obviously next year will be better than this year. We're going to get some fake blood. We're going to get some cool things going on. We can go to some places. We could try to get some costumes. What the problem is? We said all these things. Me and Mike were talking about what could we actually do. We said all these things. Nothing actually happened. So we're going to go and see what we can do. Okay, it's going to be a great stream regardless, though. I think that's good. Regardless if you're a TA maxi, you hate anything other than TA, you don't like doing anything which is fun, still comes Wednesday. It'll be a blast. There'll probably be I think there's a giveaway. I think there's a Mew stuff or something. I can't remember what it was. I think we're doing something on Mew on Wednesday. I don't know what we're doing on Thursday. It might just be a Halloween themed stream in general. I think we're doing two streams in a row. I might be completely wrong with that. So do go to Telegram if you do want more information, because I am not probably the Kishan's probably more of a reliable source of when the streams go on than me. Okay, that's how bad it is. So I can't remember what we're doing. I think it's Wednesday, Thursday. But just to be sure, I would go over to Telegram to make sure you know all the details, because I think we're doing a giveaway on Mew on Wednesday. So I would get involved on that. We're going to have costumes. We're going to have a new UI. We're going to have Halloween music. We're going to have Halloween sound effects. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be relaxed, okay? I'll have to end the stream. I'm yapping. Thank you. See you all next time. See you all Wednesday. Goodbye.